Hey you guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're new here and make sure you thumbs up this video. Today we're going to talk about one of America's favorite sponges. And no, not Mr. Clean. Today we're going to talk about Spongebob.
Are you ready, kids?
Now, you may be wondering, why are we talking about Spongebob? He's an innocent sponge. Conspiracies has it that Spongebob and his co-stars were actually created from the 7 deadly sins in the Bible. Now, we're just going to get into this. But as always, remember, these are conspiracies, whispers, shadows of a nameless face. The Sloth. Who may be the sloth, you wonder? Well, that would be no other than that pink little innocent starfish. You may think he's innocent, but he's really a sloth. He's excessively lazy, always sleeping all the time. And I couldn't believe this at first, but after watching a few episodes for this conspiracy theory, I was like, oh, he is a sloth. Oh my God. All he does is sleep. He's so lazy. He doesn't want to even get up and go to work. Like, where does Patrick work? Patrick represents this so well, especially after he became a master karate instructor just so he could steal that ice cream. What is going on, Nickelodeon? What are you doing to us? Gluttony. And no, not one for punishment, but one for excessive eating and drinking and doing nothing else but eating and drinking. Who may be the one, you say? Well, it's no other than the innocent sea snail, Gary. You may think he just sits there and meows like a cute little cat and does things that pretty cats do. He's like the cat of the sea. But no. Gary comes from a wealthy family, so he's so accustomed to eating and drinking because most royalties, all they do is eat and drink, and they're accustomed to having things their way. You may think, shouldn't Gary be the sloth because he does the same thing as Patrick does? Well, no, the conspiracy has it that Gary was actually an accomplished violinist. Gary used his violinist skills and paid SpongeBob's electric bill. Now that is what conspiracies are saying. So how could he be the sloth if he actually got up and went to work? Also, Gary spends most of his time in the library and he has a vast vocabulary, and I guess that's part of his wealthy lifestyle that he's accustomed to. But he's not a sloth. He just eats way too much, which is a sin. Really? Side note, I'm a gluttony too, so you know, I really don't consider it a sin. You may be thinking, which character is the Wrath? Well, it's no other than the tentacles himself, Squidward. Oh, the wrath of Squidward is something to be reckoned with. Well, conspiracy has it that SpongeBob blew up his house and it set him off into a frenzy, like a real bad frenzy. So when it set him off, he just blew up. Now, I think that doesn't make him wrathful because I feel like if it was me and SpongeBob blew up my house, I would lock him up in Sandy's air dome and let him dry out to the sponge he is. But that's just me. But SpongeBob has done some harmless pranks on the tentacles, Squidward. And Squidward is the petty I aspire to be. Conspiracies has it that he got so mad with SpongeBob, he violently threw him around the Krusty Krab, beating on him. He threw him into the dumpster after throwing him around the Krusty Krab with his tentacles. Then, when SpongeBob, poor Spongy Bobby, was crying, he literally laughed it off. How sinful can you be if that is not the wrath of petty that you aspire to be. This is no longer a child's show. All we learned as growing up is to be prideful of who we are. But that is a sin, so you need to stop it, okay? But who, out of all the characters, has this major problem? Well, of course, it's the Texan, Sandy, because everything is bigger in Texas, y'all. And you know, so is her ego. She is such an egocentric squirrel that she has no regards for anyone but herself. Now, the conspiracies has it that the first time she met SpongeBob, she invited him for tea. She had no regards for his, not living in water. That SpongeBob almost died because Sandy wanted him to have tea with her. Now, she knew poor Spongy Bobby was actually an underwater sea creature. How could he be in a sea dome? And she apologized about it, but I had to watch this back, and I feel like she really didn't apologize. She didn't seem sincere. And conspiracies say that she literally tried to kill him, and she had no regards for it. I guess all's fair in love and war, because doesn't she have a crush on SpongeBob? Now, this one really hit home for me because you guys know the old saying, green with envy. Well, Plankton is the one who's envious. He's always trying to steal the Krusty Krab's secret formula. He's always trying to one-up Mr. Krabs. It is to the point where he will do anything to be better than everyone else because he's so envious. Conspiracies say that his green color is equated to green with envy because of the eye. Now, if you notice, he has one eye, and every time someone says green with envy, there's always one eye staring at you. If that does not fit the 7 deadly sins more than the green with envy eye and Plankton, now we all know the greedy one. And no, it's not Patrick, and no, it's not Gary. The most greediest one of them all is Mr. Krabs. He may look like your typical businessman, but he is not. Conspiracies has it that Mr. Krabs is so obsessed with money that he framed the first dollar that he got in his house. Now, I didn't believe this, but when I looked back at the show, this is real, you guys. He literally framed the first dollar that he got. But why is he so greedy? It is the perfect sin that fits him. His greed is to the point that he counts every penny he earns, and if there is one missing, he gets in an uproar. He has shorted SpongeBob his checks for harmless things that has happened at the Krusty Krab, and conspiracies has it stole SpongeBob's soul for $1 when he was a grave robber. If that's not greed, I don't know what is. Will he sell his daughter's soul next? Will he? Now we're going to talk about lust. And no, not that type of lust, getting busy. We're going to talk about a different type of lust. And who represents that lust? No other than SpongeBob himself, the SquarePants. Now, you may be wondering, lust does not describe SpongeBob at all. But when defined by Aristotle, SpongeBob is actually the epitome of lust. Lust can be an excessive love and like for other people, and you just want to hold them so much in your heart and never let them go. And that represents SpongeBob to a T, because if it was me and Squidward was like that to me, I'm on. But not SpongeBob. Conspiracy has it that SpongeBob's lust is to the point where he may need to be put in a mental institution and evaluated, because how is this even possible? And it's gotten to the point where he loves Squidward so much and Squidward hates him. He loves Sandy so much and she thinks she's better than him. He loves Mr. Krabs so much and lets Mr. Krabs abuse him and steals his check. That poor SpongeBob doesn't care because he loves Mr. Krabs. He even loves the jellyfish that stings him. You see him running and hugging a jellyfish that stings him, and he continues to do it. Now, if we go by Aristotle's definition of lust, SpongeBob fits this sin, and this sin is hurting him so much that he continues to do it. What is going on, Nickelodeon? I can't believe you are doing this to us. So you guys, I really hope you enjoyed this conspiracy theory of SpongeBob and the 7 deadly sins. I really think it's true. It may be crazy to you, but after looking at hours of footage of SpongeBob on Netflix, this is crazy. Nickelodeon, what is going on over there? And also, I wanted to say this episode was dedicated to the writer and producer and pretty much the creator of SpongeBob SquarePants, because he made my childhood everything, because I love the show. And that is Stephen Hillenburg. I hope I said it right, Hillenburg or Heilenberg, but I think it's Hillenburg. I really want to dedicate this episode to him because he was everything and he is dead. Rest in peace. And thank you so much for making a great show like SpongeBob. Now, I don't know. We can't ask you if this conspiracy theory is true or not. And I tried to look up information, but it's nowhere to be found. But thank you so much. Rest in peace. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you thumbs up this video. And I'll see you in our next conspiracy theory.